It's 1968, and the very first LegoLand theme park has opened to a resounding success in Billund, Denmark. After continuing growth from the factory tours of the Lego company, it was decided to build a 14-acre Lego theme park adjacent to the factory to help relieve pressure from the tours. Here, guests could check out mini-land dioramas and sculptures of Lego in a beautiful garden setting. But by 1997, the theme park business had changed dramatically, including other theme parks in Denmark adding the latest in high-speed thrills and innovative rides. And it was time for the quaint little Lego park with cute and relaxing theming to add their first big e-ticket attraction called Dragon. This dark ride coaster hybrid takes guests through a medieval castle, past some fun detailed sets and basic Lego animatronics, until going outside through winding and exciting thrills. It's very cute, fun, and immersive, completely different than anything Lego had made up until this time. And it helped establish LegoLand Parks as a true theme park destination for kids. All right, now stop. All right, and fast forward. 28 years later, in 2025, Lego has opened their 11th theme park in Shanghai, China, with a suspended coaster, boat ride, and a dark ride coaster hybrid taking guests through a medieval castle, also called the Dragon. LegoLand parks have come a long way since their humble beginnings of having sculptures and dioramas and have amazing rides and resorts across the planet. And yet every single one of the 11 LegoLand theme parks across the globe all share one exact ride, the Dragon. The Dragon coaster is in Malaysia, Dubai, Japan, Korea, the UK, and more. And with all the incredible craftsmanship, Lego recreations, and colorful design that goes into each and every Lego park around the world, the Dragon is a staple attraction to each of these parks and is the perfect first coaster for many young theme park enthusiasts. So why does every Legoland around the world share the exact same coaster? What makes the Dragon so special?
Hey, I'm Mike. I'm from Theme Park 101. I make attraction guides for different theme parks around the world. I just recently went to the one in Billund, so the original Legoland Park. That has a different, historic vibe. Last year I went to Legoland Malaysia and I really loved it there. It's still quite new, but totally different vibes. Almost like a tropical rainforest. There's like palm trees, and yeah, it's just a totally different vibe to the European ones and the American ones, really.
Now, while each of the Legoland parks does share one coaster, they do have a lot of awesome rides across all of their resorts that are worth mentioning too. So many of the attractions across the multiple parks celebrate that colorful, creative spirit of imagination and endless possibility you can get when playing with Legos, but now on a much larger scale. And the Dragon isn't even the only classic coaster they've ever done. Coasterosaurus is another classic-style coaster with a dinosaur theme. In California, it's a steel coaster. In Florida, it's a re-theme of a wooden coaster. The Lego Technic Coaster, a wild mouse ride with exciting thrills that has some VR options in parks. Lego also has a classic shooter dark ride called Lost Kingdom Adventure, and even newer shooter dark rides like Ninjago the Ride, where you use your hands in certain gestures to fight instead of a blaster. Recently, some of the newest and most exciting Lego rides would include Lego Factory Adventure, where guests shrink to minifigure size and see the world through the eyes of a Lego character. Submarine Adventure, a real submarine journey through a real aquarium with fish, sharks, manta rays, and Lego creations in the tank. And coming in 2026, an all-new space indoor-themed roller coaster, the first fully ever indoor Lego coaster, which will be their version of Space Mountain. And even with most of their rides being geared towards younger audiences, the mini-land dioramas and sculpture work still continues in all of their parks to amaze all age groups many decades later. Now, a lot of the LegoLand parks do share a lot of the similar attractions. Ninjago the Ride you can find at a lot of the parks as well, but all of them do share the Dragon Coaster, which is one of, if not the headliner for all of the LegoLand parks. The multiple Dragon rides around the world all start with a stone facade castle. None of the castles are meant to look like they are weathered or ruins or decaying. Instead, all of the castles feel alive and well kept. As you walk by different family crests, banners, foliage, props, and guards, you make your way going through the castle to the load station with chandeliers above the ride vehicle. All of the dragon rides start by going through show scenes of many cartoonish characters in a vibrant fantasy castle. There's Lego characters of a king, scribes, servants, wizards, and sometimes even a little baby dragon. And before you exit the building, there's typically a large red Lego dragon atop a pile of treasure. After this, you exit the show building into the outdoor section of the ride, where you go up a lift hill, down multiple curves, winding and flying down until you go back to the load station where you began. Now, this ride's not trying to do anything too crazy. There's no loops, there's no inversions, and there's no launches or anything like that. It's truly just the most pure, simple, and straightforward dark ride coaster hybrid out there.
I think it was a favorite from Billund. You know, it's got a mixture of being a dark ride at the start and then into a coaster. So it was like a great mixture of attractions. So I'm sure it was like a flagship attraction when Windsor opened. So they just copied that, and then I'm sure it's exactly the same. Any executive that visits Legoland will know that the Dragon's one of the most popular attractions because of the castle and the theming. So they want it in their parks too. So it makes sense.
Also, just the name alone, the Dragon, is so simple and telling you everything you need to know about the ride. I can't really think of that many roller coasters out there that are kind of named for the ride vehicle itself. The only ones I could really think of are Pegasus at Europa Park, the Flying Dinosaur at Universal Studios Japan, and good gravy, the Thanksgiving Gravy Cup themed roller coaster at Holiday World. And yes, I know that there is a dragon in the beginning of the ride in the show scenes, but it's almost as if the train coaster itself is the star of the show. The Dragon vehicle is a big piece of what makes this coaster so classic and identifiable, especially that very simple and classic dragon build from the early Lego sets. It's so recognizable with its green, yellow, and red colors, and it's the most fantastical, unique ride vehicle I have ever seen for a kid's coaster. And as complex and detailed Lego sets have gotten in the recent past, the classic early Lego designs feel so pure to the goofy, childish fun of the Lego brand. It's kind of like how the Lego skeleton design is so good, they've barely changed it since day one. And it's not like the Dragon Coaster at Legoland is you ride it once and then you're finished attraction. Each version of the Dragon's beginning show scene is packed with Easter eggs, details, characters, and more that would be impossible to see all of it from only one ride through. Seeing a massive Lego structure is always going to be impressive, but then being able to see an enormous Lego dragon animatronic, stained glass windows, and Lego tapestries on the castle walls is amazing. This ride is pure cheesy fantasy goodness and truly a coaster so good it helped put Legoland on the map for families with young children. And it's one of, if not the only ride in the entire world that's so good, they cloned it 11 times. Cloned attractions, or any ride that has multiple copies, is super common in the theme park industry, especially for theme parks that have multiple locations around the world, like Legoland, Universal, or Disney. And this makes sense. When people think of Disney, they have specific rides in mind for what a Disneyland day contains, which is why there are multiple Space Mountains, Winnie the Poohs, and Pirates of the Caribbeans. And sometimes building a ride again is cheaper and quicker than having to start from scratch. Also, when guests get excited about visiting your park, they don't have to travel thousands of miles away to ride the only version of something too. For example, Universal Studios Singapore just opened up their Minion Land, which has Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, which makes that attraction the only one to currently operate in every single Universal park. But with most cloned attractions out there, not all of them are exact copies. Parks often use a cloned attraction as a second attempt to tweak the theme, layout, or effects of a ride. And sometimes this depends on the available space, updated technology, operation changes, and new ideas. And sometimes cloning an attraction is a way to change the ride dramatically in order to appeal to cultural differences and tastes, and to rework the ride concept entirely. A lot of the Space Mountains at the Disney parks are pretty similar experiences overall, but at Disneyland Paris, it has a completely different theme, ride layout, ride vehicle, it has a big launch at the beginning, that's a completely new experience. Not every version of the Dragon Coaster at LegoLand Parks is 100% identical. They always have little minute details that are different inside of the show scenes at the beginning of the ride, but none of them are so different that one feels much more superior than the others. The newest LEGO parks have more updated looks for the minifigure animatronics, Shanghai being the latest version, which has a witch instead of a wizard and some screen window displays. Some of the coaster layouts are a bit different, with the Billund original coaster being the most different of the 11, but overall, they all kind of follow the same beats. But I can't think of a ride that's been cloned this amount of times and been this much of a success that not having a Dragon Coaster in your LEGOland park would feel super weird. There are many Disney parks that don't have a Space Mountain or don't have a Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and they still feel like a complete experience. But LEGOland and the Dragon Coaster are tied together. And maybe in the future, one day we'll get a LEGOland park with like an enhanced version of the Dragon 2.0 with fire effects and a launch and a loop, and it's maybe all indoors. But for now, we just have this pure, simple, fun kids coaster.
When I went on the original one in Billund, it was very, very tame compared to the newer ones. The coaster sections were very, very basic. But I actually prefer dark rides to coasters. So for me, yeah, I love the Dragon. I love the theming, and it doesn't matter about the thrill so much as about the theming and the story.
With LEGO being the biggest toy company in the entire world, their theme parks need a distinct attraction that targets the young demographic of kids excited to be there. Back in 1997, when the first Dragon Coaster opened to the public, it was LEGOland's first attempt at creating a Disney-style e-ticket attraction to increase their attendance in the rapidly growing theme park industry. Beforehand, many of their attractions were playful and kinetic and really fun, but nothing was really the main attraction worth visiting for. And now the Dragon has become such a big part of LEGOland's iconography that it's in all the marketing. It's in all the commercials, it's in all the promotional material, and it's one of the first things you see when you Google the word LEGOland. LEGOland's strategy is focusing on younger LEGO fans with a more accessible hands-on learning approach and more of a fun, tactile playing experience for a theme park. While Cedar Fair and Six Flags are focusing on building big, thrilling coasters, and Disney and Universal are focusing on fun for the entire family, LEGOland focuses on the youngest kids and LEGO fans by making a park built on what's possible when you use your imagination to its full potential. The Dragon is a coaster that shows young LEGO fans what's possible when you can use your imagination with LEGO to create awesome and exciting worlds. And since this coaster is most young riders' first coaster period, the Dragon plays an important role into getting new kids excited about LEGO and theme parks in general.
LEGOland is so integrated with LEGO. Lego's been a child's favorite toy for years, so it's very easy for children and their parents and, grandparents to link themselves to these IPs, and everyone likes Lego. So I think as long as they keep going with new original IPs, I think that'll be more popular for them.
With LEGOland parks continuing to expand around the globe and the company adding new rides, it feels like something like the Dragon needs to be offered once again. Now, the new park in Shanghai has this very cool, relaxing boat ride going past statues and elaborate show scenes, which is super fun, but I think we can take this a step further. My pitch for the LEGOland parks would be to have a slow-moving dark ride with big, elaborate show scenes, going through mini dioramas now on a much larger scale. Having big scenes packed with detail that could be a way to bring the full potential of those LEGO City dioramas to life. It would be like the Disneyland Railroad with its dinosaur diorama. A ride that wraps around the entire LEGOland park with show scenes would be a fun, kinetic ride you could see from all areas of the park. It would be fun for all ages, and it would have lots of cool, immersive animatronics and fun details. And while the Dragon might not look like anything at first glance, this ride plays a vital role in getting LEGO fans across the globe excited about theme parks and seeing the full potential of what LEGO can do with your imagination. It's got great theming, amazing detail, it's the coolest ride vehicle for any kids coaster I've ever seen, and it's the perfect version of every kid's first coaster. The Dragon was built in 1997 to have a way to bring more people into the Legoland parks. And with new exciting theme park things being built all the time, with Fantasy Springs and Tokyo Disney Sea and Epic Universe, the Dragon is the centerpiece for all Legoland parks, and I would like to see them do something like this again in the future.
Do you feel like they secretly the entire time know that adults like Lego just as much as kids?
Well, I mean, yeah, some of the biggest selling Lego sets last year were adult focused, but Legolands are still aimed at kids. So I don't know, I feel like there could be a way of catering to adults as well. In Legoland Germany, I just made a new video about Legoland Germany recently, and they've actually got a roller coaster with inversions, which is the first time in a Legoland park. So I think they're trying to cater to older guests, but yeah, only time will tell, I guess.
So, what about you? Have you been on the Dragon coaster? And what do you think about Legoland parks and what they should do for the future? Comment down below and let me know what you think Legoland should do to be able to compete with big parks like Universal and Disney. And remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more thoughts on theme park design.